My name is Lamya Gargash. I'm a visual artist, fine art photographer from Dubai, UAE, born and bred in Dubai. I consider myself a visual artist, not just a fine art photographer, even though I've been working with the medium of photography for over 2 decades. I love to explore different mediums, depending on the concept as well, delve into different ways of creating art. So I was always very much trying to get into the commercial side of art because I felt that was the only industry that was open for someone like me. Thankfully, I graduated from the American University and then was approached by Sunny from the Third Line Gallery, and it's been a match made in heaven ever since I've been with them. In terms of the nature of my work, for many years, I have to say that I really tried to avoid working with concepts that had to do with my cultural upbringing, my spaces. And because I was avoiding working with anything to do with home, my work really suffered. I had no intentions, no preconceived of what I wanted to do, but I knew my camera was there. I started taking pictures of my old house and I started to look at things differently. And I have to say that was the beginning of it all. And I think it was a light bulb moment. I knew then and there that I have this fascination with spaces and stories and spaces and details in them. It took for me to get out of my place of birth or the places that I knew, for me to have to look at it from a different point of view, almost like there's a veil that's been lifted. And it's not just the concept of abandonment that intrigues me, it's the idea of the human narrative in a space and how these spaces carry in them so many stories. I wanted my viewer to kind of dig into the details, especially because we live in such a fast-paced world. I think we don't really take the time to observe, things as they should. Again, the idea of the banal, the beauty of the banal, the beauty of the overlooked. With this project, kun is actually an Arabic word for being or to be. It's actually, if anything, it's a command by God. The impact of it and its symbolism is quite strong and beautiful because it allows us to be human, allows us to be vulnerable. And I think there's always this fear of not wanting to be vulnerable. And I've gone through my own personal journey over the last 15 years. So the idea came to me back in 2012. I remember sketching it down. I remember writing the date and the time. I still have that sketchbook. I wanted to work on it then. It wasn't the right time. And I think, again, it's all about timing, really. So 14 years later, I was approached by Maraya to, propose an idea for a show. And it felt like it was the right time to undertake this project. I knew that I wanted to deal with notions of spirituality and people's personal spiritual journeys and the idea of, we live in this world where that just kind of constantly wants to divide us. And I wanted to just show the essence of who we are. At the end of the day, we're all humans and we all have our own spiritual, personal journeys that we go through in life. And you can have a spiritual experience in any given space. So this idea of a liminal spaces mean transient spaces, meaning, journey as well. I really wanted to emphasize on that. And so I've integrated the compass, the Kiblah compass, as a way to compose this gold fabric in the space. So the Kiblah compass, it directs towards Mecca. It's a prayer direction, considered my personal intervention in the work. But I also think that the fabric itself needed guidance, and I needed to create a link to bind the work together on an aesthetic level, compositional level, but also on a conceptual level. There was just so much beauty, like the fabric flowing and draping, and really that's kind of what I was trying to evoke, a sense of connectedness, a sense of freedom and spiritual freedom, but also a sense of humanness. And the fabric, again, I'm hoping after this show, the idea is that I want to take it on more adventures and to different cities and different places and see, and just kind of see it grow. And then with regards to the spaces, I had an idea initially that I knew for a fact that I wanted to do museums. I knew that I wanted to do smaller spaces. I also knew that I wanted to combine or bring together different cities. And I think if it wasn't for these initial kind of visits, I don't think I wouldn't have been able to envision it. I knew that I wanted to do a variety of spaces. I wanted to touch on the idea that there's no hierarchy in this journey that we go through, our personal journeys. So you've got bigger establishments, and then you've got like a small intimate space, and this idea that they're all connected in this one space. They're curated and put together to convey this idea that there's no hierarchy. We're all the same. And it was important that I bring in as many different spaces with very different characteristics. And essentially, they don't work together. If you look at them as individual spaces, they don't. But I think bringing them in with the fabric, it just binds them together and just humanizes them as well. So I would love to take this fabric to different cities and different parts of the world and see how it translates. I think this is a wonderful starting point. And this definitely opened up my eyes, and I've learned a lot through this experience over the last few months. But I think I'm not stopping here. I definitely want to see where we can go.